It's done. It is done. It is just right now breaking. Jeff Passan has done it. Jeff Passan has done it again, as Heyman and Nightingale and Rosenthal are all saying it's close. Jeff Passan comes through and drops his bomb that the deal, Kyle Tucker to the Cubs, is a go. There it is. The Chicago Cubs have acquired Kyle Tucker in a trade with the Astros. To the 250 plus that are here within the first 5 minutes without a notification. Legendary status for you. I want to give you a shout out because this is the part that'll be clipped. We'll have started this like 30 seconds ago. Kyle Tucker is going to the Cubs. We are going to live watch what the pieces are. Is it a 3-team? The Cardinals live thought that maybe the Phillies could be involved, or is this straight up Cubs and Astros? We've heard Paredes, Smith, and Wisniewski from Nightingale as the 3 potential pieces, but Chicago Cubs fans stand up and rejoice because one of the best players in baseball is headed your way. Now, Yankee fans, you're going to be bummed out. But there's still
Cubs
moves
should
for
keep
them
Bellinger.
to
That
make.
team would be good.
Cubs should keep Bellinger. I mean, all of the dominoes that follow with this, all of the dominoes are, you're thinking about, does this lock in? Does this make a guarantee that you'll see a trade with Cody Bellinger and the Yankees? Is that now a certainty? Or do they hold on to both of those? Do you consider the idea of if now you have Kyle Tucker and Cody Bellinger, are you maybe willing to eat more of the contract? I don't know how this all lines in with Cody Bellinger and a Yankees trade is still to be seen. But this is a huge get. Weeks ago, if you had said this was going to happen, I would have said you're crazy. But it is happening. It had gotten to a point within the last couple of days where it was expected that the Houston Astros would move Kyle Tucker. Kyle Tucker is a 40-homer threat. Kyle Tucker is a he's a potential 40-40 guy. You're getting good defense, you're getting speed on the bases, you're getting steals, you're getting power, you're getting everything. Cubs fans, through the roof right now. Yankees fans, this has been a roller coaster day for Yankee fans. You get Devin Williams a couple hours ago, and now Kyle Tucker's going to the Chicago Cubs. Maybe, I wonder, because these things happen before we find out. Like, the Yankees may have known that they were out on Kyle Tucker and therefore moved quickly on a Devin Williams trade. Spencer Horwitz knew he was getting traded. For those of you that watch the Gate 14 podcast, he's friendly with Johnny, who hosts the podcast. Spencer Horwitz knew he was getting traded that morning, and we didn't find out about it until much later in the afternoon. So these things happen and moving. A lot are happening before we find out about it. It's like the tip of the iceberg by the time we finally get the news. So you got to wonder if the Yankees saw this coming and jumped on Devin Williams because they knew they were out. And if they're negotiating a Cody Bellinger trade while the Cubs are trying to get this Tucker thing done, the Cody Bellinger trade may have been on hold. It's like, hold on, we got to make sure we get Kyle Tucker, because if we get Kyle Tucker, then we can talk. But if we don't, we're going to keep Cody Bellinger. Midwest Sports, again, Cubs fans got to be happy. Yankee fans, not so much. I'm wondering how Astros fans are feeling. Let's see here. Looks like John Heyman a minute ago has the trade details that we can post as a final here. This is the deal. Tucker to the Cubs for Isaac Paredes, that's a great get. Hayden Wisniewski, who is, again, you get Paredes and Wisniewski for right now, and you get Cam Smith. And Paredes has more time under control. So when the Astros are looking for ways to extend their window to compete, this is how you do it. This is textbook. my team, I mean, look, I'll say this. If you're the Blue Jays and you have at all considered trading Vladimir Guerrero Jr., I mean, this either makes you for it or against it. And now, Vladdy's not on the same level as Kyle Tucker in terms of what the trade package would be, but this either makes you for or against it. You like this or you don't like this. If you think this is a overpay, because again, Kyle Tucker could be gone, then you might be for it. What do you think? Those of you watching the replay, those of you watching live, is this an overpay or is this right? You got Isak Paredes for more years. You got Hayden Wisniewski. So those two pieces fit in right away. And Cam Smith is a top Cubs prospect that probably fits in maybe a year or two. Laptop guy feels like the package is trash. Tucker is worth so much more than them. It's the problem is the years. Yes, Kyle Tucker is a better baseball player than these three players combined right now. However, Kyle Tucker could also be gone in a year. If the Houston Astros are getting these three pieces, when Kyle Tucker was not going to be back, Kyle Tucker was a goner in 9, 10, 11, 12 months. Kyle Tucker was going to be signing a contract with somebody else and leaving Houston. And all Houston was going to get was a qualifying offer draft compensation. Now they get something much better than that. Much better than that. And it keeps the window to compete open because, again, all the years that you're getting with these pieces. Does it mean Alex Bregman is gone? Paredes is your third baseman. This is the Astros giving Alex Bregman kind of the you screwed up, bro, treatment. Because Paredes is your third baseman. I mean, do you and with Pena's your shortstop, Altuve's your second baseman? I mean, I guess if they wanted to bring Bregman back, Paredes could play first, maybe. But this does, you can take the step, signify the end of Alex Bregman in Houston. And if it is the end of Alex Bregman in Houston, we kind of look at Detroit and Philly as two teams that stand out to me. I know there's been a lot of talk about the Yankees, but I can't see that happening. I would put Detroit and Philly at the top of the list for Alex Bregman at this point. I wonder if teams call about Altuve. I don't think so, Strike Blitz. This is, with Altuve signed and taken care of for more years, Altuve's not going anywhere. This is about Houston keeping it going, keeping the party going. We cannot afford to have Kyle Tucker and Framber Valdez both leave next year. And Bregman's leaving this year. We've got to reload. We've got to think about the future. So that's it. This really, all trade talk that sort of evolves around the Houston Astros is going to be tied to and linked to Kyle Tucker and Framber Valdez. And I think it stops there. I can't see it. Braves, Bills, you're back again. Welcome back, everybody. We were live earlier and for the Devin Williams trade, and we are back live now with the Kyle Tucker trade. PCA, Happ, and Tucker in the outfield. Seiya Suzuki will be your designated hitter. I mean, Bellinger kind of has to go now. Michael Busch is the first baseman, right? I mean, you've gotten to a point now where Belly kind of has to go. And if you're the Yankees, there's been enough talk that feels like it's the move. I mean, we could see a move which with which the Yankees and Bellinger, that deal happens like tonight. This is all of that momentum coming off of the winter meetings. Let's see if Fangraphs has updated the lineup. We'll take a look. Somebody in the comments said that the lineup is still mid. Let's see here. We do not yet have Fangraphs updated yet. But you have Happ, you have PCA, that's left field, that's center field, right field's Kyle Tucker. It's a great thing. Cody Bellinger cannot really slide to first because Michael Busch is at first, and Michael Busch is at first because they didn't like how he played at third. I think this puts an end to Nico Hoerner trade talk, doesn't it? Because if you're thinking about who's going to play third now, my question, I guess, for Cubs fans is really about Shaw. I mean, Fangraphs has Shaw listed as a third base, second base, shortstop option. Right? Does Shaw get the third base gig? Because I don't think Bush is playing third anymore. I think they moved Bush to first for a reason. Shaw at third, Nico Horner second, Michael Bush first, Dansby's at short. Is that the deal? Cody, there's no room for Cody Bellinger anymore. So you have to trade Cody Bellinger. What else we have going on in here? Yes, there will definitely be. There will be some Yankee, some Yankees hate here because this was it felt like the Yankees had a chance. Luis Gil, that is what the Astros coveted. The Yankees, I mean, look, almost that Devin Williams deal earlier today is kind of the indication. They traded Nestor Cortez. I think that kind of was the writing on the wall. You traded Nestor. You're not going to trade two of your starting pitchers, Nestor Cortez and Luis Gil. That was kind of the writing on the wall that this is the way we were going to go, that the Yankees were not going to be trading for Kyle Tucker. Because you could get a Cody Bellinger trade done if you're the Yankees. Easy. Easy, no problem. That's the fact. I mean, Cody Bellinger with that contract attached, depending on how much of that contract you are willing to take on, you could get that deal done. I would say absolutely no problem here. So that is certainly a component as well here, guys. Make sure if you have not yet, please subscribe to the channel. We are over 100 likes. We can blow past that. Keep hitting that like button. Make sure you subscribe. Turn the notifications on because when they're back, you're going to want them. Because we do this when big news breaks. Boo must die with a question mark about Bregman. I think it's Detroit. I think it's Philly. That's my top two for Alex Bregman. Could it be the Cubs? Is that ridiculous? Is that a ridiculous thought? Could it be the Cubs? Because the Cubs need a third baseman now. Unless Matt Shaw. So run with me on this one for a second, guys. Sign Alex Bregman. He's your third baseman. Trade Nico Horner for some pitching. You can get a Nico Horner, Luis Castillo trade done. You got to have some other pieces, but you can figure it out. You get that deal done. Matt Shaw's at second. You have Swanson and Bregman on the left side. Could you do that? That would be crazy to consider or think about a world where the Chicago Cubs have Kyle Tucker in right field and Alex Bregman at third base. But this opens up the Cubs as a potential Bregman team. Absolutely no doubt about it. This puts the Cubs in the Alex Bregman sweepstakes, in my opinion. I would probably rank the Cubs higher than the Yankees as a potential. And the Rule 5 third baseman, I wouldn't worry about that, Adam. The Rule 5 guys are so hit or miss. I wouldn't worry about that. Not at all. Van Daminator, you're on the Red Sox bandwagon for Bregman. I mean, that could happen. That certainly is still in play. That is a real possibility. Wow. We've got Devin Williams and Kyle Tucker within just a couple hours of each other, and we might not be done. With all of the smoke with Corbin Burns, with all of the smoke with Cody Bellinger, with how aggressive the Yankees are right now, this day might not be done. This is bonkers. Astros should trade Framber now, right, Robert? That's the next move.
Astros should trade Framber now, right?
That's the next move. Now, they don't necessarily have to because consider this. They did try to bring Alex Bregman back. They wanted to pay him. He's just thinking he's worth more than he really is. So
Any talk of an extension for Tucker? Can't
One-
see Jed doing this trade for a rental.
I got you. I'm with you on that. I think that is a real possibility. That's going to be the next talking point, Jive Turkey. We're going to dive into that. But I think that if you're Houston, Framber Valdez,
Kyle
I don't
Tucker
think
to
it's a
Blue Jays
guarantee.
next offseason. BC, they are willing to spend money and trade Vlad or Bo or let them both walk.
Jimmy, thank you for the super chat. Super chats are coming in hot and heavy. Super chats take precedence, so those are going to be our next talking points. We'll finish up with Robert's super chat. With the money that they were willing to offer to Alex Bregman, they could put that towards the Framber Valdez fund. So I don't think it would be a guarantee that Valdez is next to be moved, but we're not going to rule it out. Most certainly, you could still get a Framber Valdez trade. Again, Jive Turkey, any talk of an extension for Tucker? So here's the good news for anybody that wants a Kyle Tucker extension for the Cubs. He's not represented by Scott Boras. Scott Boras clients don't typically do extensions. So being that it's not a Boras guy, I think that if you're the Cubs, that is something that is some effort you put forth. Now, Kyle Tucker is probably a $450 to $500 million guy on the open market. Kyle Tucker. So if you're the Cubs, that's what you have to put forth. I don't know if the Cubs are going to do that. Jed, is he going to get the money to do that kind of a deal? I would be surprised. I remember 2 off seasons ago when we had the shortstop frenzy. There was talk that the Ricketts had told Jed, like, go out and spend money. And there were rumors that the Cubs were going to maybe try to grab 2 of the shortstops, and that didn't happen. Do you have the money to get a Kyle Tucker extension done? That would be Jive Turkey. That yes, I mean that's what you're going to be looking for here. Jimmy, with your super chat. I mean, they're going to have to dip into that Juan Soto fund if there are going to be any conversations about Kyle Tucker. But yes, you can reserve your place at the Blue Jays for Kyle Tucker table, because that is going to be a thing next offseason. Jimmy, thank you for the donation, especially if Bo walks. Giancarlo, thank you for the donation. I appreciate that, my man. Jay Snow's not happy. The Cubs are trading for a rental. Well, again, let's hold on and wait and see what happens here. Kyle Tucker, again, Boras he's not represented by Scott Boras, so you cannot rule out an extension. It could happen, but again, you're going to have to get to that open market level. And that's after the Juan Soto deal. It's $450 to $500 million. No doubt about it. Most certainly, that's the kind of deal you're looking at. Let's see what Chandler Rome has. Check in with Houston here. Isaac Paredes can play either corner infield spot. And the Astros would have played him at first base had they acquired him at last season's trade deadline. But his position is third base, which is a vacancy for Houston. So Chandler Rome addressing the Alex Bregman elephant in the room as it pertains to Houston and their future. Isaac Paredes at first, Alex Bregman at third. Can happen. This works out good for Bregman and Boras because it opens up another team that could be in on Alex Bregman, that now being the Cubs, because the Cubs just traded their third baseman away. The Cubs need a third baseman now. So that adds Alex Bregman fuel to the fire as far as the Cubs are concerned. Again, domino effects are everywhere with this deal. Now there's no room for Cody Bellinger. Again, this is earlier. Fangraphs had Cody Bellinger in right field. Let's see if they've updated
Yankees
that.
couldn't get it done with Soto. How is Bellinger upgrade? They need role players, and a big star Belly would have helped last year. # Dodgers.
You're right. You are 100% right. Thank you for the super chat, Malachi. Thank you. The Yankees are, as you're seeing, they're going heavy on pitching. Max Fried, Devin Williams. That's what they're looking at. I agree. Cody Bellinger doesn't really move the needle for the New York Yankees. That's not even close to Juan Soto, but they're going heavy with the pitching. Malachi, thank you for the donation. Isaiah, the Cubs should sign Bregman. I think they'll be in. Especially if we don't hear a Kyle Tucker extension announced if Alex Bregman's free agency lingers into the new year and deeper into January, and we haven't heard about a Kyle Tucker extension, I would certainly think the Cubs would be interested in Alex Bregman. Now, Bregman, with all the teams in on him, could move before then, and if that happens, so be it. But I would certainly add the Cubs to the list for Kyle Tucker at this point. So here is Fangraphs now with the upgraded lineup or updated lineup. You've got Happ in left, Tucker in right, and Bellinger in center, which would mean PCA would be on the outside looking in. I think PCA his playing time is safe. I think that this signifies a Cody Bellinger trade. And a Cody Bellinger trade with the Yankees was probably on hold until this was done. Or a Cody Bellinger trade in general. I mean, he's been linked to the Yankees more than anybody else, but somebody else could swoop in. Anybody else that was in on a Kyle Tucker trade conversation, maybe names that we didn't hear about, teams we didn't hear about, could easily jump in on a Cody Bellinger sweepstakes at this point. And that's one of the things that would drive Cody Bellinger's market up, is there being less options. There will definitely be, Jay Snow, Yankee fans. This has been such a roller coaster of an offseason already for the Yankee fans, because you watched Juan Soto in your grasp get away. You were linked to Kyle Tucker as the favorite just the other day, and that fell apart. I mean, the Cubs jumped to the front rather quickly. It's almost as if the Cubs heard about the whole thing and they just they went and they got aggressive. Now, let's think about the package. All right, we did this with the Devin Williams trade. Let's do it with this one as well. This trade package, we'll leave Chandler Rome on screen for right now. Kyle Tucker to the Cubs for Isaac Paredes.
Yankees to target Santander and Teoscar Hernandez.
Santander would be a great one. He would be a great one. I don't know about Teoscar, but Anthony Santander fits so many teams right now. Thank you for the donation. Thank you for the donation, Ryan. Isaac Paredes, Hayden Wisniewski, and Cam Smith. How are you feeling about that package? Cam Smith, by Baseball America's standards, was the Cubs' number 8 prospect. And you guys can't see that because the screen's all messed up. But take my word for it. Cam Smith is the number 8 prospect on Baseball America. So you get the number 8 prospect. He was not a top 100 prospect. God, the Cubs don't have 8 top 100 prospects.
Could Bregman
Cubs
stay in
fans
Houston with
could
Cubs
dream.
money?
So you've got the number 8 in the organization prospect, Hayden Wisniewski, who is a good pitcher, but he's expendable. Like, the way the Cubs rotation was setting up, he wasn't even going to be in the rotation mix this year anyway, with the moves that they had made. So there was not going to be, I don't think, Hayden Wisniewski with an opportunity in that rotation. So Wisniewski, an expendable Wisniewski, Cam Smith, who is a number 8 prospect, and let's see, how many more years are there? A lot of times the payroll page gets updated later. Do we still have... Nope, they have updated it. They've gotten really good at that. I don't know if anybody ever noticed that. Sometimes the depth chart would get updated, but the payroll would sort of get ignored. Let's see, you have Isaac Paredes. We have to zoom out on this to see Isaac Paredes. Right. Look at that. Guys, look at that. $6.9 million is a significant dollar amount in 2025. It's getting up there, but you have 2025, 2026, and 2027. I almost said 2023. We're going backwards. You have 3 years with Isaac Paredes if you're the Houston Astros. That is a great thing. This is a good deal for the Astros. So if you're thinking, why couldn't my team do this? Again, you have to give up top 10 prospect. You have to give up Isaac Paredes, who is very talented and has 3 years of control. And you have to give up some pitching depth. There are certainly teams that could have done it. Yankee fans, I think you had probably the best chance of anybody with the interest in Luis Gil. Well, who would you have rather had? If you were a Yankee fan, would you have rather given up Luis Heel and another piece, and based on this package that went to Houston, you kind of have a feeling for what the other piece would have to have been. Luis Heel would have essentially played the Isak Paredes role in a trade. So then you would have been looking at another top 10 prospect, would not have had to have been Spencer Jones or any of your elite prospects. So somebody in that 5 to 10 range, and a Hayden Wisniewski type. Or let's say if Luis Heel was the main piece, then the secondary piece would not have been a pitcher, it would have been a position player. You've got that, though. So the Yankees could have done this. This is essentially the Yankees deciding to hold on to Luis Heel. They chose Luis Heel over Kyle Tucker, and instead went for Devin Williams and gave up Nestor Cortez. That was the choice. So the Yankees' rotation stays elite, and they, I guess, are figuring they will do all their damage, make all their hay in the with the bats in the free agent market. John Beagle there. Why trade a young arm for an old player? Luis Heel's young, Kyle Tucker's young. They're both young. Ah, man, this is a fun trade. This felt like it was coming. And again, Cubs fans, you got to love it. What is left for the Yankees to go after for offense? There's a lot. Christian Walker's still there, and Christian Walker is offense and defense. You've also got Anthony Santander, Teoscar Hernandez, Jurickson Profar. There is a lot left. There's Ha-Sung Kim, who's not really super offensive, but focused and helpful. But he's great defensively, and he's a solid bat. There's a lot for the Yankees that they can go into. And look, hey, if the Yankees are hell-bent on an outfielder, go trade for Cody Bellinger. And if you don't like the Cody Bellinger contract, go trade for Luis Robert. There are outfield pieces to go and trade for after Kyle Tucker. You can go get either of the names I just mentioned. You can dig into the free agent market. It's the options, the opportunities there. The Cubs are going for Kyle Tucker. Kyle Tucker is, when he's healthy, from a hitting perspective, top 10, top 15. Yankees offered Ben Rice, Luis Heel, and Will Warren. That's pretty good. Frankie Bag of Donuts, is that out? Who put that out there? I'm sure at this point, somebody has.
What if the Cubs get Nolan Arenado? I'd give Cardinals would trade him to the Cubs, but if Cubs willing to take some money, they could also get a prospect.
No, I wouldn't do that. Again, I would not. Anybody kicking the tires on Nolan Arenado, I would just kind of stay away from it. I would say that there's a better likelihood of trading for Alec Boehm, signing Gio Urshela, signing Alex Bregman. There's other options. I would not mess around with the contract for Nolan Arenado because the Cardinals are going to make you take a significant chunk of that. And if you're doing that, you might as well just go get Alex Bregman. Some people are pushing back on that Yankee deal. Now, John Heyman John Heyman might be doing his Bleacher Report thing, and in that he could be talking about all sorts of pieces that were included. I would anticipate. You know what? I don't know if we'll ever get really what the Yankees offered, but we might get. We might find out. Why not? We might. Let's see. Alex Bregman is in talk. We know, Mike, the Detroit thing. Detroit is a spot for Bregman. Philly is a spot for Bregman. The media, the reporters, the insiders keep talking about the Yankees as a spot for Bregman, which I'm not buying. And you've got this one. You've got the Cubs as a landing spot. Does this take the Cubs out of?
Does this take Cubs out of Castillo-Horner trade?
If they go sign Bregman, if the Cubs, who now you can link to Bregman because they have a need at third base, what the Cubs could do is they could sign Alex Bregman. He's your new third baseman. Because right now I think Shaw has to slide to third base. But if you sign Bregman, then Shaw is second base, and Nico Horner is on his way out for Luis Castillo. Luis Castillo's on his way in. John, you could most definitely do that. 100%, certainly, 1,000% can do that. Boy, this is fun, guys. And we're not done. I don't think we're done. This is good. It's good. I mean, I really like this for the Chicago Cubs. I hope you get your extension done, because this would hurt. This would hurt if it is truly a rental.
It was 161 River Ave.
Jason had that out there? Okay. I trust Jason. Jason probably heard that from somewhere. What else we got here? This is, again, I like it for the Cubs. This is a big move. This is a top. You can make the arguments that he is easily top 15.
Astros didn't like the Phil's offer of Boom and Casty for Tucker because they disliked Boom's stuff, and according to Bowden, can spear him a third baseman.
There you go. I mean, Bohm is eventually going to have to move off of third base. Thank you, Firefight, for that donation. Yeah, I mean well, and it just doesn't work. That trade doesn't work. Truly, the Astros trade, because there was Bowden said earlier on he was somewhere, maybe on MLB Network Radio or on MLB Network, talking about a Phillies offer. Bowman and Castellanos for Tucker, it doesn't work. But Firefight, thank you for the donation. I like this for the Astros. I think, getting Isaac Paredes, 3 more years of Isaac Paredes. I mean, that's great. And again, it doesn't rule out a Bregman return. Paredes could go to first. Bregman could be at third. You get a pitcher in Wisniewski. You get a future piece. This is a great job by the Houston Astros to understand, to have the foresight to see beyond the trees, to see the entire forest. It's a great job by this Astros, by Dana Brown, to get a deal done out of nowhere. 2 weeks ago, nobody would have thought this was possible, but here we are, and the Cubs are getting Kyle Tucker. This is great. I had said at the beginning, so people had been asking me questions on social media like, Jim, where is all of this? That the trade market this offseason would explode, and we're watching it explode with deals like this. All right, guys, I got to run. I would love to stay on for another 20 minutes. I guess I see another super chat coming in. I got to get my kid over to baseball.
Should trade Bellinger for Oswaldo Cabrera or Spencer Jones, then Cubs sign Bregman if no extension Tucker deadline.
You get Bregman back in there. You can do a deal with Bellinger. I don't think you get Spencer Jones back, though, Jimmy. I don't think you get Spencer Jones back. All right, guys, I got to get my boy over to baseball practice. So I'm going to run out of here. I will be keeping an eye on this thing because we could have a Bellinger Yankees trade later today, possibly. If things are moving, it's going right now. Thank you for coming in and spending some time with me here to react to the Tucker signing. Make sure to, the Tucker trade. Make sure to hit the like on the way out, everybody. BALLCAP Nation, I salute you. I'm a goner, guys. Remember, as always, what are we doing if it's low? Let it go. If it's high, let it fly. I'll catch you next time.